All right, welcome to our October 2025 State TA Day. Thank you all for your flexibility this month with our schedule change. I'll remind everyone at the end of the meeting as well, but just so you all know, our next meeting will be December 4th, Thursday, December 4th from 1 to 3. It'll be a combined November, December meeting that we have traditionally combined into one to accommodate all of the holidays during November and December. So just so you all know, it's fun. We were just talking about everybody's favorite scary movies. So fun to hear that. I hope everyone has a fun and safe Halloween tomorrow, all those who are celebrating, and I hope you take lots of cute pictures of kids in costumes and all of that. That's definitely the best part. And the dog costumes, obviously. Sometimes even better than the kid costumes. Howard's going to be a piece of pizza. So, all right. So to start off today, we have Kristen Garcia from the SBDC, and have some really exciting things to talk about. And we're just so grateful for this partnership. Thanks for coming on and chatting.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Hi, everybody. I only see like one person on the camera, so I'm just gonna take all your little icon faces and pretend that you're really sitting with me, I think. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the childcare program that the Small Business Development Center is launching. And it's been in partnership with CDEC for a while, so some of you may know about it, some of you may not. And I have a little slide deck I'm going to share with you all, and while I find that, just a little background on me. I just started with the SBDC at the end of March, so I think this is maybe month 7 or so, so I'm fairly new to the organization. I was with DPS for about 10 years, and though I taught and worked with kids in different capacities, I didn't work directly with a lot of the ECE programs. And so it's been interesting moving to this role and kind of getting to know the childcare space, the ecosystem. It's definitely very involved. And so if there's anything that I say throughout anything, if you ever are talking to me and I say something that's not quite right, that you are catching in terms of childcare things, just let me know. It's totally okay. All right, so the program that we have is the essential, oh, hold on, let me put this into presentation mode. Sorry about that. My computer's being a little slow. There we go. Okay, so the program is called Essential Business Skills for Childcare Administrators, and this was created a while back. I actually wasn't involved in the initial development of this course, the program. I hopped in taking over as the program manager just the beginning of July, so I'm pretty familiar with it now, but I don't have all the backstory of who is involved, like the specific people. But it was a partnership with CDEC, and there was a working group that involves people from CDEC, ECCs, and SBDC advisors that all kind of got together to review the curriculum, and then it was approved. Everything was approved by CDEC, and eventually, turned into this program. So I'm just going to go over, do an overview and touch on some of the ways that this program is going to function, and then I'll give you guys some options or an option to ask some questions if you want to. So one of the main things about this program is, of course, offering benefits to providers when they take this course, which is meant to support the quality rating levels 3 through 5. And then anyone who completes the whole thing will get 6 hours of PD credit. That includes 3 hours of program content, so going through the actual content with, there's different formats that I'll talk about later, and then 3 hours of one-on-one business advising. And that was, I think, the key point in developing this with the SBDC, is that we wanted to have more opportunity to support providers on that one-on-one setting, to give them more individualized support. So the content itself there's a lot of content, but it doesn't go really, really, really deep into every topic, because the goal is, hey, how do we give you guys these essential business skill knowledge, and then, you know, with anything that you specifically need, we're gonna actually talk about that in a one-on-one conversation and get all that settled for them. So they do get points towards QRIS for taking or for doing the advising hours. So for 3 hours, it'd be 1 point, and if they do 4 or more, it'd be 2 points. So there's that. It's also in Spanish, so we've got 2 program offerings, and I listed the purpose here. This is directly from our agreement with CDEC in terms of who it's supporting. So we got prospective, new, longstanding licensed family childcare homes and childcare centers, as well as all the license exempt childcare providers. So, you know, I think this program definitely lends itself well to startups and people that are wanting to get more information about how to actually set up their business. And I've heard many stories so far of people that have been in business for a while and still kind of missing a lot of those really essential business skills. So my goal is to actually, I worked with our LMS manager. She manages the LMS on our end, and we developed a partner-facing version of this program so that it doesn't track anybody who wants to just look at the content to see what's in there. It won't track you all as a participant who's taking the course, but I wanted to find a way to make sure everybody kind of knows what's in it, so that even if someone comes and says, hey, you know, I need help with this, I've been in business for this long, you know, we kind of understand what's in the course and what can actually be helpful for them, no matter kind of how long they've been there. So you kind of talked about this a little bit. This was kind of who was involved with the initial process, and we used this table. I used it for my presentation to the network, so but maybe it's less relevant for you all, but that's who was involved in the development of this. So the course itself has an online version of this, and that is what this curriculum that is showing right here. That's what's in the online version. So we have 4 modules. Starting a business is those kind of more legal, foundational, how do we register our business and all that kind of stuff. Module 2 is finances. Marketing is module 3, and then module 4 does cover the childcare management software a little bit, and then is mostly resources, kind of relating back to the previous modules. This is a little bit different in our in-person options. So we've got different course delivery options that are happening. So of course we have, like I mentioned, the online modules. So this lives in our LMS, and it's just a self-paced course that providers could take from anywhere in the state, right? And I forgot to mention that. So the goal of this is also to be statewide, to be able to reach, you know, all the rural folks out there and just make it more accessible. So we have that online version, and then many of our centers, we have 14 centers across the state. I believe 11 of them will be hosting some version of an in-person course. So some of them are having actual physical locations where they're going to host it, but a lot of them are doing virtual events, and so those will also be accessible statewide. And just so you all know, the online modules are currently live. They went live at the beginning of October, so those are available for people to use and check out. The in-person virtual courses that our centers will be hosting we had some funding things going on, and so we're still working out the calendar between all the centers that are hosting things. So there's not any events posted right now in our event calendar, but there will be coming soon. So hopefully those will be available in the near future. And I just wanted to point out the journey that we refer to people as clients, but that providers would go through in this process. So I have a document linked. Oh, let me drop this in the chat before I forget, or I'll do that afterwards. But I have a document that kind of goes through the process a little bit more in depth, but essentially everything's going to funnel through PDIS. So clients will go through PDIS. They have to be registered. I think a lot of people probably are, but if they aren't, they will create an account there. And then from there, they can find the e-learning course and or the in-person courses, and then they'll use their same PDIS credentials to register for those programs, whether it's online or in person, so that when I submit information to PDIS for those credit hours, that information lines up. So just so you all know kind of where it's living, that's kind of going to be the access point, the main access point for everybody. I created well, it's nothing fancy. I actually want to create something fancier, but I was trying to find a way to connect our ECCs and SBDCs, and I'm working on adding licensing to this in the future. But there's just a spreadsheet that I put all the ECC information by county, and then I put all the SBDCs by county. And so I'm going to kind of utilize this for now as a way to make sure everyone kind of, if an ECC needs to refer someone to us for business coaching, they kind of can look at that spreadsheet and say, hey, this is the county that we're in, and this is the SBDC center you should contact, and vice versa for SBDCs to ECCs. So I want to create maybe more like a web page where you can kind of filter through it a little faster. That's future me. I'm not sure, being in the state what tools I have access to actually make that happen. So I will update everybody once I have something fancier. And that's kind of the quick rundown of the program, and yeah, the kind of history that I have on it, which is limited but still useful, I guess. Any questions, thoughts from you all?
Kristen, I just have a quick question. Do you have a one-pager that we can share with our providers that has the how-tos?
You mean like the directions for accessing everything?
Yeah.
So I actually don't know if I have a one-pager for that specifically, but it will be easy enough for me to create one. And I'm actually working on adding that exact thing to our website too. So if you want to email me, I'll drop my email in the chat too. Just so I'll create that for everybody and send it to you.
And Christian, maybe hopefully you can share this with Charlie as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes. I will do that. Okay. Well, that's it for me. I'm gonna drop the slide deck and my email in the chat, just in case you all need to get in touch with me or you want to click on any of those links in there. So thanks for having me. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Awesome. So yeah, this is a really amazing benefit that we can offer. Kristen said providers who go through this can earn up to 2 points in their evidence for Colorado Shine. So kind of kills two birds with one stone. But yeah, we've heard a lot of really wonderful positive feedback, and you can work with, within your own communities, and we just really appreciate this partnership. So thank you so much. And yeah, I'll make sure to include the agenda, the PowerPoint and everything in the agenda. Cool. All right, next up, we have Brian Dreller with Raising Colorado Kids.
Thank you, and hello, everybody. I don't think I've had the pleasure of meeting many of you. So I'm Brian Dreller. I'm on the product management team with the Department of Early Childhood, and I want to talk about Raising Colorado Kids. Before I do that, do me a favor, if you will. I want to kind of measure how well we've been doing on our outreach and sort of evangelizing Raising Colorado Kids. Can you hit the raise hand button if you have not heard of Raising Colorado Kids? Okay. That's not too bad out of over 50. Good. Well, I only have a few minutes here. Just wanted to do a quick overview of what it is and what's next. Bear with me here. Wait, sorry, I'm sharing the wrong window. Hold, please. Okay, that's coming through. Yes. Yes. All right. So raising colored kids sounds like the majority of folks on the line here have heard about it. So real quickly, just to recap the purpose. Like, why did we build this thing? Why does it exist? I think we can all empathize with the fact that information historically has been, and still is in a lot of cases, scattered all over the place. As a family, if I want to find childcare, I can go to these sites. If I want to apply for programs, I go to these sites. If I want to learn more about early childhood development, I go to another site. So our goal is to make that a more unified experience and centralize a lot of this information with a laser focus on families here. We've also taken a really careful approach to the branding and the look and feel. We want it to be welcoming. We want it to be friendly. It is a government site, but it's not immediately obvious. So our point in doing that is sort of to build trust and again, make it a friendly and welcoming place. So what we have in here is, again, consolidation of a lot of content from a lot of legacy agency sites, predating the Department of Early Childhood, as well as some of the sites we have today, really focused on all the things I said. Researching childcare, researching developmentally or age-appropriate development milestones, finding various resources. We are integrated with two sites, one being Colorado Shines. You can see that on the left, which I think we're all familiar with. That's where I can go to research providers near me, get more information on them, pulled in directly from Colorado Shines. And we're also integrated with 211 Colorado. So folks seeking other wraparound services can easily find that under one roof. There is also a big component of Raising Colored Kids, which is our eligibility screener. This I encourage everybody to run through. It's completely anonymous, although you do have the option of saving your results at the end, and I'll tell you why that's important here in a second. But it asks, I don't know, a couple dozen questions, pretty quick to go through. And at the end of it, I get a report of all of the early childhood services that my family may be eligible for, with direct links directly to those sites to learn more information. Then I can save my results at the end of it, retake that quiz if I want, but by saving it, I can also integrate some of my existing applications that I have out there. So for example, we're integrated with CCAP and the Universal Preschool Program. So you will see your active or submitted applications right there. And feel free to stop me here if you want to hang on to any topic. So the meat of what I wanted to talk about is right here, kind of where we are and what's next. So this site has been out in the wild for a little over a year now, kind of officially launched it October, almost exactly a year. And then just this spring and summer, we began the kind of promotional and evangelism step of the journey here. We're always looking to iterate on this, learn from people like you, learn from families, what's working, what we can add to this. So there's a constant feedback, always listening. Where we are kind of right now, we just wrapped up the what we're calling a partner marketing toolkit. And in there are bilingual samples of content you can put in a newsletter that you might send out to your folks, print PDF versions of printable handouts, like the ones on the left here. That's a business card sized handout with a QR code. Very easy, very portable, inexpensive too to print out. And we've heard that these are really successful, again, because they're not bulky. It's not a big flyer or pamphlet, just something I can tuck in my pocket and get that quick resource. So what's super exciting is what's next on the horizon, and that is taking this to be a truly unified family experience. And what I mean by that is, I mentioned we have this eligibility screener that has this rules engine underneath it. I answer these questions and it can evaluate my eligibility for all these different programs in one kind of questionnaire. We want to take that same application and turn it into an actual application platform, meaning I fill out my information once, and from there, I can just turn that into an application to apply for CCAP or a referral to Safe Care or home visitation programs. All of the programs under the CDEC umbrella, be able to apply directly there and check the status of those, interact with the application again, supply information such as, proof of income, whatever might be missing in there. I can do that all under a single pane of glass. I see a hand raised, Shelly. Was that from before, or did you have a question now? May have been a holdout from before. But yeah, feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions. Actually, I'll ask for another hand raising thing here. Has anybody received, well, let me see. Has anybody not received or seen this kind of partner marketing toolkit? Raise your hand if you have not received that. Okay, sounds like there's quite a few. That's awesome opportunity. We can follow up after this with that. It is a really helpful resource to kind of help spread the word, which, probably stating the obvious here, is the much harder part about launching a program or platform like this. Building it with software code, kind of easy in the grand scheme of things, but making sure we're reaching every Coloradan that can benefit from this is obviously the hard part. So definitely appreciate everyone's help in spreading the word. I think I can forego a demo in the interest of time, and again, encourage everybody just to go to raisingcoloradokids.com, explore it, give me feedback. I'll leave my information up here. Happy to hear any and all feedback, ideas, considerations. But again, encourage you to explore that and hit me up and give me your thoughts. Any questions?
There's one question here in the chat. Where on the website does a person find the eligibility calculator?
Yes, I just stopped presenting too. If you hop into Raising Colorado Kids, you'll see pretty prominently placed throughout the site a Find Services button. So it's at the top in the banner, and you can find it in a few different places. And that launches into servicesfinder.raisingcoloradokids.com. And again, completely anonymous. Go through that, poke around. Tiffany.
So Brian, I'm curious, we have county family pages, family support pages, that would include a lot of the services that are offered via the state. Is there an opportunity to have a link of that? Like parkparents.org is our personal one that focuses on our county, our efforts, what we have going on specifically in the county. Is there something like that that could be added?
Short answer is yes. And so we're still developing kind of a standard operating procedure for adding new programs, local programs to this. The magic of the rules engine underneath is it does listen for like what county you live in, and will provide you kind of localized results based on that. So if there is something that is isolated to a geography, address area, we can splash that up as something that's available to you locally. So again, don't have that SOP sort of firmed up yet. So just feel free to email me, and we can talk about what that might look like. Still in the maturing phase here, so bear with us. All right. Well, again, I think Charles can maybe send along this information and the toolkit, as well as my contact info, because again, really anxious to hear any and all feedback. So thank you for your time, everybody.
Thank you so much, Brian, and thank you for all the awesome work that Raising Co Kids does. I know you impact a lot of early childhood spaces, a lot of spaces just for for the children of Colorado in general. So really
Indeed.
appreciate this partnership. Hope we can continue working together.
Excellent. Yes.
Cool. All righty. Kristen has a quick update for us.
Hi, everyone. So good to see you. My name is Kristen Lang. I'm the Policy and Partnerships Manager over at the Department of Early Childhood. Hopefully I'm still with you because everyone is freezing on my end. So great. Okay. glad to hear that's true. I'm gonna just drop a link in for you all. Although I've changed roles, most of you know that much of my prior work with the department was focused on our preschool development grant, Birth Through 5. Our councils were integral partners through every single iteration of this grant. And recently, we just kind of concluded our state's efforts through PDGB 5 with the submission of our final report for the most recent funding that we had, which ended in March of 2025. So I'm here today just as a reminder to just celebrate all of the work that you all helped us do through this grant for since 2018 that we had it. Unfortunately, we weren't awarded in the last round in 2024. And we thought that there was going to be an opportunity to apply again this fall. But you know, some things are going on at the federal level and that did not materialize. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on that. But what I really wanted to share with you is that in celebration of the conclusion at this point of our work on PDGB 5, we totally revamped the website on our CDEC website. So or the web page, I should say, on our website. So I wanted to just share that with you all. The way that the web page looks now tells a more comprehensive story of the funding over the years. And it has all of the different funding iterations broken down in these drop downs. What's really helpful about this is, I don't know about you, but a lot of times I'm like, oh, I remember that thing I worked on and it was really great and I cannot find the link anywhere. We have added every deliverable from every iteration of the grant to this webpage. So, you know, if you are looking for that great thing you helped us create a year or 2 or 5 years ago, it'll be here now. Also, if you're curious about some of the other work that happened, particularly in this most recent iteration, this is a great place to go to kind of get caught up. We also have here, under each iteration, you'll see the application, the different strategies, and the final report. So again, if you are, you know, up after eating too much candy tomorrow night and you want to dig in and find out all of the great things Colorado did and what you all helped us do, it's all here in this final report. The other really exciting thing is that there's some great partner impact stories here. So a lot of you helped us put these together. Tiffany, I saw you on the line. There's this great story that you helped contribute to about your planning grant. In fact, I think about the resource you were just talking to Brian about. So these are really just good snippets to remind us about the real impact of this work. So thank you for the time to share this. We are hoping to, you know, promote this story a bit in the next month and would love for you all to be accessing the resources here, to sharing that story yourselves. And I'll end there and just see if you have any questions. Okay, well, thank you for letting me jump on, and I hope you have a great rest of your meeting.
Thank you, Kristen. All right. Next up, we have Connie Z to give us a peer mentor program update. You on, Connie? Actually, don't know if I saw her on. All right, we'll skip Connie for now. Danielle, are you ready to rock?
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
Here are my slides. Those things. How's everyone today? Hopefully everyone's good. My name is Danielle. Many of you know me. I'm the quality improvement specialist here at the department. And I just have a few things to share. I'm going to share my screen first. And I was in the middle of a slide, so I will talk about that one and delete it since that one was not complete. I've already introduced myself. So just a quick update, coaching credentials for coaches within that are utilizing quality improvement funding within the coaching portal are currently being verified. So I have a report that I'm just pulling for each coach in the coaching portal and verifying that they either have a coaching credential extension or they have an approved coaching credential. I have that doubled on there. So if your credential has expired or you have not yet applied, please reach out to the Regional Coaching Network team at the Regional Coaching Network team. I will put the email in there. Obviously, that slide was not complete as well. I'm going to put the email within the chat for you to reach out to. Sarah is here if you do have any questions regarding that process, but I will put that email here in the chat for you to reach out to that team if you need assistance with or support with applying for an extension or your coaching credential. Do you have any questions for Sarah? Any questions regarding that before I move on? Okay, so we are asking for this to be, go ahead, Julia, did you have a question?
I don't have a question, but so you guys are going to be reviewing, but we do still have that 6 months. So when we hire someone to get them qualified, is that accurate?
Sarah has raised her hand. I will let Sarah share.
Hi, Julia. Yes. So if someone is a council employee, they do have 6 months in which they have to be able to get their coach credential. One of the things that we're working on right now is creating a provisional coach credential for those individuals so we can get them to show up in the system. If you can send me directly an email about any new hires that you have until we have the correct form created, we'll be able to get them in the system. So then they'll be recognized for Danielle to be able to approve them in the coach portal.
Thank you so much.
And we do
Thank
have
you,
a
Sarah.
coach credential extension form on our coach resource website, which I'll put in the chat here in a second. So if anyone is coming up that they have not met the qualifications to renew their coach credential, you can apply for an 18-month extension.
Perfect. So I'll be sending out emails to anyone within the coaching portal that do not have a coaching extension or a coaching credential within PDIS and request that you do start that process and be some sort of within that process by January 1, that you have an extension in place or in place in the works. Yes, Julia.
Sorry. So for councils that actually have internal coaches, is there a way we can be notified of the of our staff's coaching credentials? We expect them to give it to us, but we have several and people come and go. So is there any way that you all can like also include the or the executive director into those communications?
If councils can provide me with a list of who your coaches are, we can make that happen. But right now, most councils don't tell us who's actually coaching for them.
Okay, I will get that to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia.
Yeah, and from verifying the coaching credentials, I will send out emails letting you know after Sarah has confirmed that I did not make any errors within auditing the coaching credentials, and send out letting you know that this coach does not have a coaching credential, to give you time before January to get that in place as well, Julia. Okay, if your coaching credential, your coaching portal, moving on, so we're still within the coaching portal. If your coaching portal has not been logged into since it was created, so that means last fall when I began creating those coaching credentials, it will be deactivated. And if your coaching portal has not been logged into as this fiscal year, as of January 1st of 2025, it will be deactivated, just showing that this type of coaching does not require you to use the coaching portal. If they do receive an email that has been deactivated and you're like, wait, we just haven't used it yet, please just reach out, and it's I can enable that coaching portal. But if you don't need a coaching portal, we just want to save that room for another coach that does need to use the coaching portal to submit coaching. Do you have any questions on that? All right, I'll move on to a slide that just deleted, but I should have deleted that other one too as I was looking through it. But I wanted to talk about transferring, since we are at that time of year where you're starting to look at your funds and being able to allocate more funds to more programs. So instead of forfeiting, the only time forfeiting should be used on a requisition of funds if that program is not going to be using any of their funds for different reasons. It's coming close to the end of the year, they're not meeting their MOU, any of that information, then that's when forfeiting their funds from the requisition would be used. If you are going to decrease the amount that they are allocated to be able to provide more funds for more programs within your county, put in a place of like a percentage that you need to decrease. And when you are creating that transfer, choose decrease rather than forfeit. And if you already have that allocation in mind of we need to decrease by this percentage to be able to allocate this percentage to more providers, then decrease that to avoid errors in that MOU process. If you're forfeiting it and we say pooling, you say pooling all those funds, you may create errors within the system and it will automatically put them on the wait list. So work with your coordinators if you do need assistance or support with creating a percentage that would work for your council to decrease the funds when doing creating a transfer. And also for best practices, as well as just avoiding errors being in the system and having to submit a help desk ticket and all that stuff. Yes, Julia.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. This is near and dear to my heart right now. So Danielle, if we do have to make some of those changes, I know we need to do our liaison, but you also want to be CC'd on those communications related to any changes we might need?
I'm sorry, Julie, I had a hard time hearing you.
Sorry, I don't have my headset on, so can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay, so just like when I do the help desk and stuff, and I sometimes CC you in on certain things, as we're making these changes with coaching and maybe forfeiting funds and talking to our liaison, do you also want to be communicated with that as well?
Unless it's system related as far as technical assistance, I don't need to be CC'd on it. But if you do want my eyes on it because you just want to make sure you're doing it correct, or it's any technical within the system, then feel free to CC me on it. Same with the help desk. If you are submitting a ticket to the help desk, feel free to CC me on it. That way that I won't miss it either way. And I'll grab it if it is relevant to me or I'll pass it on to your coordinator if that's a question for or a task for her. Did that answer your question?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
No problem. I always love hearing from you, so don't hesitate to reach out if it is for me. All right, unless we have any questions on that, I'll move on to a little bit of a change of our office hours. Okay. Kim office hours have moved. I'm sure you saw that last week at the last minute move. We're still having office hours. They'll be the third Thursday of every month. They've been increased to 45 minutes. I put the link in the chat to use the new link. Somehow I was uninvited to the previous office hours that I created. So I had to do a shift last week. Some of you are able to find that. I created a new link and I thought that would be a good time since I was going to move it from once a week to moving it to the third Thursday of every month. I think that's great news because that means that we are running a little bit smoother and we don't have to meet weekly. If for any reason I feel like we need to increase that amount, we'll do that. But at this point, I feel like meeting once a month will work for now. Please bring your questions. It's very casual. They're not recorded, but I do take notes and I can start sending those notes out if that would help. But I have put the link in there. And if you want to be added to the invite, please send me an email and I will add you to the invite. I appreciate you all. And that is it. There's my email as well as Colorado Shines Help Desk. Again, just please, if you are sending anything that's technical related, the best way just to track things within the system and make sure that I'm not missing it within my email is to include the help desk on those emails. But I appreciate you all and have a happy Halloween tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Danielle. We love all the innovation to make our QIM the best it can be, and it is doing nothing but improving every single day. And that's all we can ask for is improvement. Cool. And yeah, please attend the office hours. It's a great time to just chat and let us know if there are any issues going on and just kind of visit too. All righty. I believe Connie hopped on. Danielle is a rock star.
Yay.
Yay. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Yes. All right. So let me go ahead and set these up. So thank you so much for having me. I'm Connie Zabalaga, and I'm the peer mentor training specialist here at CDEC. And today I'm here to talk to you about the peer mentor program. This is this time of year where we start recruitment, actually starting next week. I can't believe October went by so quickly. So what is the peer mentor program? We have been running, this is going to be our 5th cohort, where we are training professionals to become mentors and foster those relationship-based processes with their peers so that we can increase their self-efficacy and also to help support the mentees in their continued professional development and improvement. So what are the goals, right, of this program? We want to enrich those relationships in early childhood settings to improve practice, allowing for programs to develop leadership from within, continue to support that grow and reflective practice of early childhood professionals. And also, like I mentioned, self-efficacy and increase the retention of our workforce. So, so far, we've been really successful creating those really great relationships and supporting the professionals. And one of the things that I'm like, well, what makes the peer mentor program an innovative way to support the early childhood professionals is that we focus on supporting supporting them regardless of how they enter the profession. I think that we hear a lot of peer mentoring or mentoring happening in more of university spaces, or if they happen in our professional settings, it's more of an informal mentoring relationship of like someone that you really connected with. And so what we know that mentoring, it's already happening, but it's giving the professionals the tools that they need to mentor their peers. We focus on building relationships, not performance. So we're really more worried about professionals' well-being, because we know that when they are thriving, that their performance will also they will succeed as in their careers and their personal lives, right? And then there's also this emphasis on building resilience. So some of the supports that we create within the program, we did the whole peer mentor curriculum. It's 18 hours of training for the mentors. We also provide a monthly stipend for substitutes or to pay overtime. So if the professionals are meeting outside of their work hours, then that stipend can be used for that. Also, the mentor receives a monthly stipend and the mentee for their participation. So we know that that their time is valuable, and we want to compensate for that. So the structure of our program, which I call it like the mentoring cycle. So if we look at the month, because it is 5 months. So if you look at 1 month, they will be doing in week 1, it's their module meeting where they're acquiring skill sets. And then on week 2, they have their mentor-mentee meeting where they get to put those skill sets into practice. So it depends on how far along they're in their process, right? So like if we think about that first month, they'll be getting to know each other, maybe setting some goals or planning on next steps depending on where they are at. Then on week 3, we offer communities of practice for the mentors to discuss topics of interest and reflect on those and building community. And then on the 4th week of the cycle, the mentors and mentees check in with each other. And then each relationship is really different, right? So we just provide that space for them, but they might be checking in about implementation strategies or what is happening in their professional settings, or what are their needs. So it kind of varies, right? But that is the structure that we have created, and then they start over again the next month on week 1 with another module meeting. So some of the things that the mentees will be focusing on, we do want to provide a structure for the mentees. So if they're new to their role as teachers or working directly with children, then we suggest a positive guidance sequence to guide their work with their mentor. So they'll be taking that sequence 1 module each month. If they are in the director spaces or family child care providers, then we suggest the director sequence to guide their work. So eligibility requirements to become a mentor, to working directly with children at a licensed program or FFN provider. We do want them to have at least 3 years of experience in the role that they will be mentoring. Have a mentee that works in their program. It's also really helpful. That way we don't have those barriers of time. For family child care home providers, they should have a mentee within their city or county, but we do provide support to find mentees for them if they really want to participate and become mentors. Then we do play matchmaking and try to find mentees for them. If they don't know anyone in their area who would like to be mentored. And then, of course, having support from their program's leadership. It's really important if you're going to be participating, because we want to make sure that the programs are also taking advantage of creating this culture of support, and that mentoring it's embraced within the program culture. So we do make sure that their leadership is on board with their participation. Some of the things that it's an extensive list of what the mentors are going to be learning, but really foundational skill sets. I kind of call it a coaching light, but mentoring, it is a reciprocal relationship. So I think that whatever the mentors are learning, I think the mentees are also learning, and they're learning from each other as well. But these are some of the topics that are that we talk about and study during our time, during the fun months. So next, when is the next cohort and who can participate? So that's why I'm here. So the next cohort will start in February of 2026. The applications, I actually think they're already active on the PDIS, to be honest, because I did that yesterday. But for everyone else in the world, it will be open on Monday. But yes, teachers working in licensed programs, center directors, assistant directors, FFM providers, licensed childcare providers. And this one, it's a new category. It's coaches that are interested in facilitating the peer mentor curriculum in the future. So I'm currently working on the storyboard for the peer mentor train the trainer curriculum, so that I'm not the only one facilitating. And so I would like to invite any coaches who would be interested in participating to apply to be part of these upcoming cohorts, so that they in the future, once we do the pilot for Train the Trainer, that they can be part of it and have their own cohorts within their community. The goal is to have that self-paced Train the Trainer published sometime in the summer. So I'm working diligently, and we are hiring someone else to our instructional design team that will be helping us out to develop that course. So please, any coaches that you know that might be interested in participating, if they have a new coach in their area that they want to mentor, they would be perfect candidates to participate. And that's all that I have, Charlie. I do have 2 flyers for you that I'll send you the links to attach to these presentations, so that they can find out more about how to become a peer mentor if they have people in their community. I'm thinking of, like, Julia, I know they have their apprenticeship program. If she has any mentors in her program that would like to participate, that would be great. Partnership there as well. So I'll put all of that information out, and just reach out to me if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Connie. We've heard so much wonderful feedback about this program, and you've really built it brick by brick from the ground up. So we really, really appreciate it, and hope you guys take advantage of it and find some providers who want to learn and want to teach and all of that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. And yeah, please share those one pagers when you can. And you're still sharing your screen, just so you know. Cool. Alrighty. Alyssa, I saw you.
Yes, I'm ready to go. Let me just share my
Hello.
screen. Great to see you all. Hope you're having a good week. It's been a month or so, but I'm back with another E&E update for you all. So if you haven't met me yet, my name is Alyssa Pappas. I am semi-newly now. It's been a few months managing the Emerging and Expanding grant program. So if you ever have any questions about the grant, please reach out to me. My information is here and on the agenda. And just a reminder, please put my information on your invoice submissions in OnBase under Program Manager. Christy no longer works at CDEC, so if you put my name, it just ensures that those invoices come straight to my inbox. All right, my updates for today. First of all, I am requesting that not just on a whim, but we are now requesting that base invoices require supporting documentation moving forward. So if there's no supporting documentation attached to your base invoice submission in OnBase, I will be kicking that back to you to upload that documentation. And the reason for this is that we recently attended an SLFRF, that federal funding that we got for E&E, a training where it was highly encouraged to go ahead and collect all of the supporting documentation for this grant program ahead of time now, because OIG is already auditing other SLFRF programs across the state. So at this point, it's not so much a matter of if we'll be audited for E&E, but when. And so this will really help me make sure that all of our grant files are super clean. We have the documentation that we need so that it's easy to pull the information in the event of that audit. So I know that this is not something that the department has historically done or required, but the good news is that there is that button space to upload supporting documentation right in the OnBase invoice submission. And the things that I'll be looking for the base invoices are timesheets or invoices from supplies, office supplies, travel, anything that you have on that base invoice, depending on the category. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. And just a reminder, I will be kicking that back to you for documentation moving forward. Okay, my second update is for transfer requests. I wanted to just revisit transfer requests and our transfer request form to provide a little bit more information to you all on what the reason for transfer requests are and what we can and cannot approve, as I have started getting a few more of those. So the number one most important thing that I want to message to you all today is that capital requests in the transfer request form must be previously approved line items within the provider's eligible application. So applications for E&E were originally determined eligible by a whole E&E review crew, lovingly named, which was a committee made up of licensing team members, grant team members, and quality team members. So we had a really thorough group reviewing applications and determining what was eligible, especially for these capital requests. And it's just really tricky to approve those now without that full team. And so we simply cannot approve new capital requests. However, if a previously approved capital project winds up costing more than originally was budgeted for, that is a case in which if you have extra funds in other categories for that provider, we can consider and look at those transfers. So say that there is a new fence installation for a playground area and it winds up coming in at $2,000, $3,000 more than originally was budgeted for. But if you pull up that budget application request, fence installation is listed there. That you can submit a transfer for to buffer. We know that a lot has changed in the past few years since these applications were approved, and costs of materials and labor and all of those things can change. So please continue to use the transfer requests for capital items that were previously approved, but not for new capital items. Of course, let me know if you have questions. And then, for those two, make sure that you send required documentation, so updated quotes and insurance for whoever is doing the work to me, or even better, upload it to Salesforce, but sometimes that has been tricky. Okay, and then we still want to help ensure that all of your providers can spend down extra funds in allowable ways. If you have extra funds, we highly encourage moving those to coaching whenever possible. We can always approve those transfers to coaching, as this is directly linked to quality improvement, which is what we really want to focus on, in addition to, of course, new centers or new childcare providers and expanding. And then if coaching is not possible in your area, or it's just not feasible, and you are considering transfers from coaching or capital to materials, please just include details in the transfer request form or in an email to me for what those materials will be or what the professional development will look like. Again, I need to ensure that all of the transfers will be for allowable uses of our E&E funds. And then the final thing on transfers is that you are welcome to use the transfer request form to forfeit any remaining funds that won't be used. I know sometimes you wind up with $2 left somewhere that is just not not going to be useful in any way. So if you are trying to clean up your Salesforce for E&E as we reach the end of the program, you can put all of those requests to forfeit in the transfer request form. Okay. Any questions on transfers or supporting documentation? Pause here. Okay, fabulous. Then, like Danielle, I had some technical difficulties with the office hour invitation for E&E. I think it was created years ago, 3 people ago. Yes, I will definitely do that, Karen. And I was no longer able to update the invitation. So the old invitation no longer exists. The new link is here, and I did send out a new calendar invite to anyone who was on the old calendar invite. But if you would like to be added, please, of course, just let me know. Send me an email. That would be best. But I'll try to look in chat too. And this slide has the new video link, and I will put this slideshow in the agenda as well. And then just a reminder, anything Salesforce related, please send to Danielle and her team via a help desk ticket in Salesforce. And I have an individual appointment scheduling link as well for any program questions or invoice questions. Okay. The transfer request link is here. I will also drop that in the chat. And just an update on my process, I review transfers weekly on Wednesdays. And if you have any additional documentation that for whatever reason you're not able to upload to Salesforce, please just email it to me directly.
Okay, thank you for your time today. I hope to see or talk to you all soon. And we have 1 minute, but any final questions? Okay, I'll get those links to you. Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you, Alyssa. Oh man, when we started E&E, we had no idea it would still be here 4 years later, and we are very happy it is. We're grateful for you stepping up and taking on this work, Alyssa. I know it's not always the most exciting or fun work, but we're grateful to have you in this role. All righty. So next up, we have Eva to give us an EQ update.
All right, thanks everyone. I will share here. Okay. That's not where we want to start. Okay. Just wanted to say hello and come on and share a little bit of what the EQ initiative has going on right now. For those of you who I haven't met yet, I'm Eva Jankowski. I am the Expanding Quality in Infant Toddler Initiatives Program Manager with the department. So first I wanted to connect with some of the councils who are engaged with the EQ initiative and let you all know, and some of you have already signed up for these meetings, so thank you. But this year we are kind of honing in and focusing on just gathering feedback from you all and just thinking about what your communities are doing to sort of engage with the EQ initiative, what's working well, what feels challenging to you. And so we are hosting some one-on-one meetings over these next few months here. Like I said, many folks have already signed up for those, but if you haven't, I will make sure that that sign-up link is included. We just want to hear your feedback. We want to dream with you. We want to think with you and be a thought partner with all of you to find out what can we do better to support our infants and toddlers? What can we do better to support our workforce? And how are those things working for you in terms of our partnership at the state? So that's what those meetings are going to entail. The folks who I'm hoping to have come to those meetings are really folks who are on this call, so fiscal and council leads, as well as EQ primary leads. This meeting will really be a little bit more geared around some of the strategic plans that you have, your scopes of work and those kinds of things. But, you know, we would love to have some of those lead folks on your teams join that meeting. In addition to these one-on-one meetings, we are also working with ECLA to develop a work group for the EQ initiative, just to, again, gather feedback, hear some of the goals and thoughts and ideas on what folks feel like could be improved, what folks feel like, which areas folks feel like are going well, and just to kind of, again, be that thought partner with each of you to hear how things are going. And additionally, one kind of new exciting thing that we have going on this year is our credit for prior learning, which is rolling out and is rolled out right now. It's live and active in the PDIS. So anyone who has taken the EQIT course from 2022 onward can access the credit for prior learning course shell. I will be talking more about the process and just, you know, helping to explain, because it can be a little bit confusing. It's a new thing that's rolling out. So I just want to be sure to answer any questions that are coming up for folks and just kind of explain the steps. So I will be taking more time than I will right now on that ECLA Hot Topics call on November 14th to talk about credit for prior learning and just to discuss what that would look like for an EQIT participant. Additionally, I wanted to add that for the Rocky Mountain Early Childhood Council, I'll also be facilitating a workshop around credit for prior learning. I'll be joining Healthy Childcare Colorado with Robin Levy and Allison Hargarten to offer more information about credit for prior learning. So just put that on your radar as well. So that is coming up here. Last year, some of you may remember that we developed an EQ data report based off of some of the pieces of information that we collect to report up to the federal government around our CCDF reporting. And I just want to be able to share that with all of you. So I have data from last fiscal year that I'm currently working with our team to develop that report, which we're hoping to release to everyone in January. But I just wanted to share a few snapshot numbers with each of you so that you had a sense of what last year looked like. So one of the areas that we focus on with the initiative is our workforce. And our big area and our big reach is our infant toddler specialist network, who are our credentialed trainers and our credentialed coaches who offer our various training models and are able to offer our various coaching models. So last year we had 104 credentialed infant toddler specialist trainers and 59 credentialed infant toddler specialist coaches. Of those folks, 98 are English speaking, 8 are Spanish, 5 are Arabic. And this year, we're really working to increase some of those additional languages. We have our Infant Toddler Specialist Foundations course coming up that Leah will be leading starting at the end of January. And we have a Spanish cohort that we will be trying to increase that number of Spanish trainers. So we're excited for that. We also, of course, have room for Arabic trainers to attend that. And we do have folks who will be attending that. So we're excited for those things coming up. The number of councils engaged with EQ are 21 of 36. According to some of the new folks that we may be able to bring into our foundations course, we may be able to expand that work next year. So we are happy to continue to expand to other communities or reactivate other communities. The number of infant toddler caregivers or professionals in our workforce last year was about 6,200. And of this number, almost 1,000 of those professionals took the EQIT course last year. So we know that we can continue that reach, but we are also happy that many of those folks who are coming into the workforce are able to take the EQIT course as a starting point. And reported of those professionals who took the course, about 12,000 infants and toddlers were served by our EQIT participants. So some information on the actual EQIT course. Of our total all-time completions, we've had 20,000 folks complete the EQIT course across the years. Last year, we had 924, so close to 1,000 folks, which is an equivalent of 44,000 hours of training that was provided to our workforce. Thank you to all of the EQIT teams out there really doing this hard work and being so engaged and so dedicated. We ran 52 courses across the state. 41 of those were English, 8 were in Spanish, and 3 were in Arabic. And one of the data points that we've been trying to collect is how many people are interested in potentially looking at EQIT for credit or going the CPL route. Folks said that they would be interested in taking EQ for credit was 300 approximately last year. So far, we'll see if we will get that many folks who will want to do the portfolio and do credit for prior learning, but that's sort of our gauge number. And our end of the year survey evaluation, we ask a question that says, after taking this course, do you think that you will stay in the field longer? And of that, 76% of those folks say yes, that they would like to stay in the field longer after they have taken the EQIT course. So we like to see that. Additionally, we, as you know, offer, as you may or may not know, some of the communities offer different models to support their infant and toddler workforce. So some of those training models are trauma responsive care. So last year we had 5 trauma responsive care courses run. We had 1 touch points run and 2 growing brain trainings run. This year, we anticipate seeing much more trauma responsive care because we were able to train about 45 of our specialists to be able to offer that course. So we'll probably see an uptick in that over this fiscal year. And last but not least, and then I will hand it to Leah, I just wanted to share a little bit of our coaching data, which is reported by each of you. So thank you so much. We had anticipated almost 1,700 coaching hours delivered across the state. We had very close to that, 1,678 coaching hours. Of that, about 1,300 were our EQ Relate coaching hours, which is our coaching model that's connected to the EQIT course. 350 were Lena coaching hours, which really focuses on a back and forth exchange of language. And 4 of those hours were Find coaching, and we have 1 person who is a certified Find coach, so that's why that number is pretty low, but that is an avenue that is available to that team. And we had about almost 500 individuals receive coaching last year under the EQ initiative funding line, and of that, 50 of those people received 18 to 15 coaching hours. So when we're looking at that higher number of coaching and higher number of hours that an individual receives, we know that there's a greater likelihood that some of the skills that they've learned in the EQIT course are going to be maintained in their everyday practice. So we're happy to see that big number. I will let Leah talk a little bit about the foundations course that we have coming up here in January.
Thank you. For those of you who don't know, I'm Leah Grossman, and I am the EQ training specialist here at CDC. And our next big adventure is the Infant Toddler Specialist Foundations course. We are focusing on an English track and a Spanish track this year. So we will have a track that is facilitated entirely in Spanish so that we can get, as Eva said, more Spanish instructors up to date and qualified to be credentialed infant toddler specialist trainers. So we're very excited about that. Just a few notes for you. In an effort to streamline, we have reduced the in-person days from 5 to 4. So we'll have 2 in-person days at the end of January, and then we'll have 2 more in-person days at the end of March. The rest of our sessions are virtually meeting, and it goes super smooth. We also have found that in the interest of people who are applying and want to participate in the Infant Toddler Specialist Foundations course, we have some participants who have been waitlisted because they don't have councils to partner with yet. So we may be reaching out to you if we find out that they live in your area to confirm if you're adding to your team, if you're not adding to your team, or to see if you'd be willing to support them as they're going through foundations. In maybe they can do a guest facilitation with your current team so they can practice their skills later on next spring. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you are adding them to your team. So we just wanted to give you the heads up that we are excited, and we've been in contact with those people who are registered, and we will continue to be communicating with them. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and we will answer your questions and do what we can to support you. So thanks.
All right, and that is all we have. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate everything that's going on in the EQIT world and the new innovations and, just keeping it fresh. So thank you so much. And we hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. I think we're winding down. We have Elizabeth Cordova on here to chat about teach reimbursements.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I'm gonna share my screen here. I know many of you. It's really great to see you. And I wanted to talk today about the Teach Colorado fee reimbursements. My goal today in this short time that we have is to determine where there is a need for fee reimbursements, what adjustments we might need to make, and then hopefully work together to spread the word to make sure that anybody who would benefit from a fee reimbursement can get one. So these are some images on this intro slide of our early childhood recruitment campaign from last year. I think many of you have received information about it, but just wanted to call out that that's where that's from. So here we go. Just as a little bit of background, in case anybody here has not yet heard of Teach Colorado, we are distinct from the Teach Early Childhood Scholarship with ECLA, though we work very closely together and have some shared goals. Our mission is to identify anyone who might be interested in or considering a profession in teaching in this particular program, early childhood, and then reaching those folks and providing them with information and cultivating that interest. Sometimes we see that a person might be ready to jump in a couple of months. They're already really set on the profession, and others take years to really think about it, learn about it before they're ready to take that first step. So we are really here to help anybody considering the profession, make it a little bit easier, try to remove some barriers, though I wish I had millions of dollars with which to do that, and ultimately help people to apply for or register for and get started on an early childhood teaching pathway. So that's just a bit of background before we dive into the fee reimbursement. So anybody who signs up with Teach Colorado before starting on a lead teacher qualification pathway, whether that is some PDIS trainings to work toward that level 2 ECPC, or whether it is starting at a community college, wherever they may begin, or with an EQIT training. They can then come back to us once they've gotten started at any point in the program and submit receipts for up to $100 in fee reimbursements. The most common use here is for something like a background check or fingerprinting. We know, for example, that in some community college programs, students were not able to begin their field work until they could pay the background check fee, which sometimes gets sprung pretty quickly and couldn't gather the money and then continue on. So that's the exact moment where they can apply for reimbursement. It is reimbursement. It's not upfront money, which is too bad, but we want to make sure that that reaches anybody who might benefit from it. So I should have brought this up first. This includes somebody who is an assistant teacher wanting to move into a lead teaching position and seek the training needed for that. It includes someone who's just starting out on their early childhood teaching journey, whether it is a high school student who's going to sign up for a concurrent enrollment course or a career changer. So those steps, again, are just signing up with Teach Colorado before applying to or registering for some sort of training or coursework. And then they come back to us and submit those receipts at any point. So here is my ask for all of you. And you can either share in the chat or out loud. But I would also love if you are willing to fill out, this quick form, if I can make it back to, yes, here we go. Okay. So the form is on the QR code. It's also in the chat box, and just asks you whether there are specific programs that you run, training programs, where there is a fee that is associated with it, so that we can work to make sure those folks qualify for the fee reimbursement, or just in your work, if you have noticed other fees that pop up in a specific course or training or whatever it may be that seems to be a barrier for people. because our goal is to really reach anybody, like I said, who can benefit from the fee reimbursement and make sure that we get that money in their pockets. So that is what the form is for. I would really love to hear from you. And then we can open it up for a minute or two of discussion of just what opportunities you see in your community to utilize the fee reimbursement. And then any financial barriers besides the fees I've identified that you think are important, whether it's something like, I mean, of course, I'm naming universal barriers here, internet, grocery bills, etc., for somebody to be able to complete an online course, but would just love to hear any of those needs that are really present in your work and your mind. I'll give folks one more minute to just think about it. If there's anything you'd like to share on the call, that's great. And if you want to just pop all of your feedback and thoughts into the form, that's really great too. Nicole, yes, absolutely. This could cover CDA fees. Again, it's just up to $100. Like I said, I wish I had millions of dollars here, but it is something and could absolutely cover CDA fees. Again, it has to be somebody who is just starting out, not someone who is currently a lead teacher and then working toward their CDA. But that's absolutely eligible. Brittany, for pre-licensing, yes, again, as long as they meet those sort of base requirements of just getting started out in their lead teacher training. Sorry, my 8-month-old is screaming in the background with her grandma. But yes, that would absolutely qualify. Yep, that's the key, is the timing. Registering with Teach Colorado before both requesting the reimbursement, but also before registering for the CDA or whatever the training program may be. So we have the most success to get ahead of that timing issue with either some sort of referral link on the web page itself, or we have worked with programs to integrate it just at the beginning of an application. That's a wider conversation when we're talking about PDIS. It's something I'm always discussing with Elaine and the team with CDEC. But in the meantime, if you don't control like the Google form where folks are signing up, then the closer we can get it to any sort of web page or like an informational email, the better. And I can work with you individually to figure out the timing and the placement of how we can reach the most people. Amanda, that's a good question. I'm going to make a note of that and give it some thought to see whether we can make that one work. And if you want to pop your email either into the chat or I'll put mine on the screen in just a moment, touch base with me and I can follow up, and I'll add it to the notes too, so that anybody else here can check back. Okay. Well, this is my email address. I will also put it in the chat. And the slides will be linked in the notes as well. After you have filled out this form, if you have other ideas or things you think we are missing or audiences we should be reaching out to, then please feel free to follow up with me. This is not just a one-time conversation. And again, if you'd like to work together to make sure that we're able to reach your specific audience, just let me know and I'm happy to do that. Thank you so much for having me. Nicole, I can get you the link. That would have been just the most obvious link for me to provide, wouldn't it have been? I will let the next person go, but I'll pop it into the chat in the slides.
I think you already popped it in.
That is to the Google form, but Nicole wants to know where people can actually apply, and I didn't tell you, so I will add that now.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yes, we love that. Thanks, Elizabeth. You're still sharing, just so you know. Okay, cool. Well, that's always exciting to be able to support our teachers as they become teachers, and Lord knows they need our support right now. All righty, cool. We are winding down, folks. My turn to present. I just have a couple quick presentations. So this first one here. Oh, also, before I go, Brenda popped it in the chat, but make sure that you are letting providers know that they can receive almost $3,000 back in their taxes. This has been the tag on all of our emails. I'm going to pop this in the agenda too, Brenda, just so everyone has it like right here, right away. But yeah, just make sure folks are applying for their tax credits, because it's another really valuable way to support teachers. Who don't always get the support they deserve. All right, here we go. So this is in regard to programs who change their license number due to a change of ownership or change of location, whatever. We've had a couple cases come up where folks didn't understand the procedure, so I'm just running through it right here as a refresher. So basically, if a license number changes, the program can request a 6-month extension on their rating. If they're rated high quality, if they're a level 2, we're just going to have them get back to a level 2 and not extend that. But if they're a level 3, 4, or 5, we will be able to extend that level 3, 4, or 5 to the new license, assuming it really is just like a change in ownership or a move, and like the staff and the program itself is generally the same. So in order to do that, just email the help desk. Our Colorado Shines help desk here, cdc@coshines@stu.co.us. The program is going to need to reapply within 6 months to be re-rated to hold that level, but it won't drop as long as they reapply. It won't drop until it's changed for the rating. So I just wanted to clear this. Are there any questions on this? Like I said, I know there was a couple cases where folks thought that with the new license number, the program had to start back at a level 1. And I just want to squash that we wouldn't do that. We just will need to be notified to extend their high quality rating level. I also chose this slide to plug that there is a new licensing help desk. Remember Sean Samuels from the PDIS help desk. He is the first attendant on this licensing help desk. So if you do have providers who have questions about any sort of licensing issues, you can have them email the licensing help desk and they'll get back to them. It's like application, payment issues, things like that. So that's my first thing. Any questions there? Okie dokie. Here is my second presentation. So I'm going to give an update on minor improvement funding and grants. Sorry. Okay. So, nope. Okay. So here's an update. We did this initial presentation back in August. We had, I think it was about 70 applicants, and we are almost ready to notify councils who will be awarded this round. So here's the timeline for round 1. So by the end of next week, we will be notifying you. I'm sorry, I know we said the end of the month, but we've had some personal family stuff and some other things come up where we haven't been able to make the solid approvals yet, but they will be notified by the end of next week how much they will be awarded, whether or not they will be awarded. The funding will be transferred into the minor improvement funding stream next Friday, so you'll be able to start that reimbursement process right away. I am noting here that only folks who had documentation present were selected. So if you were unable to gather documentation, then unfortunately we were unable to select those providers at this time, but we will get to the good news about that in just a second. And then, of course, for submitting documentation, you're still going to need to submit and approve the request through the QIM. We have the process listed out here, and we'll be sure to make sure that this is relevant and the right process before next Friday. And then, of course, we'll need those finalized by May 31st, 2026, hopefully before then. So this is the timeline for those who have already submitted applications. However, like I said, we did have quite a few applications that did not submit documentation, and we still have some leftover minor improvement funding to award. So we are announcing a round 2 application. We're going to reopen that original application on 12/1, so on the 1st of December, and we're going to close it on 1/1. So folks will have those first few weeks. I know the end of December gets kind of crazy, so you have all. That doesn't mean you can't start gathering documentation right now and get providers ready to apply. So we're opening that again December 1st. We're going to close it at the end of December. So we will have another application open for December. Please reach out to Michelle, Lilith, or I if you have any questions on this. We'll have decisions on this round of applicants by 1/15/26. And at that point, we'll be transferring minor improvement funding. And then, of course, still need to submit and apply, just like with the round 1 applicants. But we did realize that it looked like there was a need, and maybe programs just didn't have enough time to get bids in, or to figure out what really they were trying to reimburse for. So we wanted to reopen this, and I think we have about we've awarded about 100,000. There's a rough about 100,000. We have about another 100,000 to award in minor improvement funding. So, continue to speak with providers, see what their needs are. As a reminder, the requirements: we need a signed MOU under TSQI, so they will need to be a level 2 or higher. We will need to ensure that the benefit that the minor improvement benefits infants and or toddlers specifically. We cannot fund any sort of preschool room updates or improvements. CCAP agreement, that would also fit the TSQI category. For family childcare providers, the improvements need to benefit program spaces only. And if it's like a kitchen where the provider would benefit and the children would benefit, we're going to look at how many infants and toddlers would be positively affected by the minor improvement and kind of award a percentage based on that. The project needs to have started after July 1st and will be completed before May 31st. And the grant is up to $7,500, but not guaranteed. Again, our recommendations, they need an MOU. We're recommending to disperse equitably, consider longevity. How long will this minor improvement last to benefit the program, and consider how high the need is. Just a reminder, some approvable projects: outdoor space improvements, window door replacement, hazard repair, flooring, heating, and air conditioning, with a focus really on heating. And then no would be just like painting, a whole remodel, gross motor, equipment, plants, anything not linked to the current QIP. I'm also going to throw in there roofing, a couple for roofs, and we cannot, that's a major improvement. That's a major renovation and not a minor improvement. And that is that. So anyone have any questions on that? I'm hoping that this will make some folks happy, that even if they're not selected this round, there's still a chance they're selected next round. I also know ECLA is, they're going through their family childcare home improvement application, or not ECLA, I'm sorry, Healthy Childcare Colorado has been reviewing some of those. So hopefully providers are going to be able to get some minor improvements going. Any questions there? All righty. Well, I believe that's all we have today. Any other last thoughts, questions, comments, anything like that? All right. Well, I hope everyone has a great weekend. I'm so grateful that Halloween is on the 30th or is on a Friday this year. That's a miracle. So hopefully everyone can really enjoy their time tomorrow and yeah, have the whole weekend to burn it off. Awesome. We appreciate you all so much. Thank you to all of our presenters today. I know this was kind of a beefy State TA Day. And as a reminder, next State TA Day will be December 4th, combining November and December's, and make sure that folks apply for these tax credits. Make sure they get in these applications before the end of the year. All righty. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Talk to you
Thank
soon.
you, everyone.
Thanks. I'll be hanging on a bit to make sure I got all the links in the chat.